Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Railroad Tycoon 3 fan-made scenario. This time it is Greece in 1857. Greece from the first railway between Athens and Piraeus to the end of World War I. That's 60 years of historical playtime, covering territorial expansion, technological advances, and economic hardships. So it's a pretty big map. It starts in 1857, and we have no choice on the matter. We have to start in 1857. And it ends, I think, mid-1915. So not quite the end of World War I. And I can't have AI, and I am playing on Expert. So let's go. So, for those of you who follow the YouTube channel of Macdo Tomato, he has played this scenario before. You can download this particular map on the Hawk and Badger Railroad site, because it is a fan-made site, a fan-made map scenario, and that's where I get all my Railroad Tycoon 3 fan-made maps from. I have played it before, but like very briefly, like not all the way through, and I'm playing on Expert, so yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do. So I don't know how hard this is in general. I mean, I have watched his video, and if you haven't, I recommend you watch it. He played on medium. I won't spoil what he got, in case you want to watch it. Anyway, in terms of medal, like whether he got a bronze, a silver, or a gold, or if he failed. January 1857. In 1821, the Greeks rose up against the Ottoman Empire. Following a protracted struggle, the autonomy of Greece was first recognised by the Great Powers in 1828. By 1833, a Bavarian prince arrived to be crowned king, and by 1857, as we start, King Otto still rules, despite a troubled reign. I'll just say this now, because obviously this scenario is like nearly 60 years. It's a long one. There's kind of a lot to do. But it's got a very interesting mechanic, which we'll come to in a bit. The first railway in Greece was built in 1857 between Athens and the port of Piraeus. Once you start your company, this will be your first compulsory goal. As the game proceeds, other like goals will be presented to you. These goals need to be fulfilled for victory points. This scenario will run all the way to the arrival of World War I in Greece in 1915. At the end of this scenario, you should have 10 victory points if you want a gold medal, 7 for silver, and 4 for bronze. You should be aware that victory points will be awarded depending on the targets that are varied. You will have haulage targets, company profit revenue targets, personal wealth targets, and city territory connections demands. Use a varied and careful strategy to reach success. Over the length of the scenario, there will be 12 opportunities for victory points. Only. Don't waste them. Yeah, so basically, as the game progresses, our objectives change, and we sort of have 12 objectives as the scenario goes. If we miss it, there isn't a second chance. So for gold, we need 10 of those 12. For bronze, we only need 4, and for silver, we need 7. Some of them are dead easy. Like the first one, I believe, is just connect Athens to Piraeus, which you can see Athens is there, Piraeus is there, so it's just right next to each other. And deliver like 3 loads. So it's just like build 2 stations and a train. But then you get other ones where it's like, oh, connect this city to this city, and it's like halfway across the map. Or like make a profit of a few million in a year, or a certain industry profit, a certain net worth, etc. Sort of typical scenario game goals, but you might only have like 20 years to do it. But saying that, you will already have a pre-existing railroad. So it's an interesting mechanic, because it sort of keeps you on your toes. You sort of have to do a bit of this and a bit of that. Like you have to do a bit of industry, a bit of personal net worth, maybe a bit of book value, and like hauling and connecting and whatnot. Before you start, you may want to mind these words of warning. Greece was a poor region with little to show in terms of resources and even less industry. The 19th and 20th centuries were filled with turmoil and saw huge waves of emigration. Great! The steel and machinery need to be imported, and that will make tracks and locomotives more expensive. Fantastic! Greek territory expanded more than once during the period of this scenario, as more regions are made free of Ottoman rule. Be patient and wait for nationalist victories. Yeah, so that's another thing. As far as I'm aware, you can never ever buy territory in this scenario. But you don't need to, because the scenario is divided up into several regions, consisting of various regions of Greece. And as time progresses, more and more of these become available. Also, we start with like about 1.5 million, so that is nice. It's great that you've decided to take the challenge of building railways in Greece. Greece comprises 4 regions at this time: Attica, Peloponnese Peninsula, Central Greece, and the Aegean Islands. For now, your permit allows only for laying track in Attica. That's Athens and around. The first victory point available is easy to win. You just need to haul cargo to and from Piraeus before the end of 1857. Yeah, so if you look in the ledger, it just says victory points opportunities already presented and how many we have achieved so far, so that's obviously 0 and 1. We have to haul clothing to Piraeus and steel from Piraeus before the 1857. So we only have a year to do it, so we basically have to start with track and trains. We can't start with industry at this moment, otherwise we miss and fail the victory goal. In terms of territory, we only start with Attica and the Aegean Islands. The Aegean Islands themselves not having anything, like no industry or anything that I'm aware of. Not even a single house. They are completely and utterly devoid of anything. Attica is basically just Athens, Piraeus, and surrounding towns and places like Megara and Marathon. If we look in terms of total cargo, there's not really a whole lot in this region. Or indeed the map. Yeah. There's a fair bit lying around in Petrae, because there's a port here supplying. Yeah. So there's a textile mill, which is basically self-serving. The port supplies cotton, which is then demanded at the textile mill and turned into clothes that are then demanded at the port. So it's sort of like a self-economy there. It supplies and demands everything it needs. But everywhere else, yeah, there's not really a lot of cargo at the moment. But it did say that. But yeah, so priorities. Connect Athens to Piraeus. Can get away with a medium station in Piraeus, so let's just do that. Also, we can build unconnected track, so that's nice. Iron bridges don't become available until, I believe, 1865, so for now we're just going to build wood, but obviously we don't need a bridge at the moment. Large station covers all of Athens, apart from that tiny little house over there. Can't fit in the cattle ranch as well. Nope. And good thing is, it's all nice and flat. I do like that I can build unconnected track, because it makes... Even though I generally go for just like connected track, so like you won't see me just like connect... You'll rarely, I do sometimes do this, connect like 2 cities on the opposite side of a map to like my network, but most of the time I go for connected track. Being able to build unconnected track is not, or rather being unable to build unconnected track, it's not the most annoying thing in the world, but it's just kind of like, it makes track building easier, because it means that, say I wanted to connect a Marathon now, which I could actually do. No, actually I'll save my pennies. To quote this game. But yeah, say I wanted to connect a Marathon now. If I couldn't build unconnected track, which obviously we can, it would just mean track laying is a bit harder, because I couldn't just like go, oh, I want a station, and then build the track. It'd be like I'd have to build the track and then place the station around the track rather than build the track around the station, which is a lot easier to do. And also, it obviously does mean that it's not like I can connect 2 cities here, 2 cities there, 2 cities there, and then sort of connect them up. With unconnected track, with all connected track, it's like we start in Athens, everything must go to Athens. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Are there any? Ooh. Right. Well, we're going to need maintenance and service coming out of Athens, and then Athens will sort of serve as like a hub. Oh. I thought that should be like some passengers, but there aren't. That's kind of annoying. So we have to haul clothing to Piraeus and steel from Piraeus. That's quite useful because there's already that stuff here. We are going to go with the Crampton, simply because it is better than the alternatives. Because it's flat, so it's faster. It's actually more expensive to buy and more expensive to maintain, but I mean, it's only a short journey, so we could even go with like we could go with the Bueth, I suppose. But I think for sake of argument, we'll just go with a Crampton. And that's hauling clothing as it should and as it needs to Piraeus. And we don't at this moment care about net worth, which is quite useful. So let's issue off our stock. And I'm going to buy some industry, but I really want that textile mill, but there's no way to afford it because I would need like 2 bonds. But that is really good value. This is making money. Ooh, that's a good buy, so I'll buy that. I could buy that. I kind of want to buy that, but obviously it's too expensive. I'll buy this, and can I afford like something else? Could if I took out a bond. Which 55,000. See, in order for the bond to be justifiable, I'd have to buy an industry with it that makes $55,000 or more per year, and these are not. So no, I'm not going to buy a bond. Or rather, I'm not going to take out a bond and buy an industry with it. Yeah, so I don't know why this is here. If you've watched MacDo's video, you'll know that he said yes. And he probably thought 50 million cash, maybe it's a trick. Turns out it isn't. Okay, you literally get 50 million cash. And I think that's a bit unfair. Especially since you don't ever have to pay it back, as far as I'm aware. There was a thing where it was like you've lost $1 million from corruption or something. And I don't know whether the 50 million in cash had anything to do with it. Also a bit weird, it says beta test event number 1. But as far as I'm aware, it is the only one, so I'm guessing it's something that the map maker forgot to take out. And this shouldn't be here. Because this is definitely a test, like when he was making the map. And also, just having 50 million straight away makes this scenario a lot easier. As you can imagine, we'd be able to buy a lot of industry and build a lot of rail. Admittedly, we only start in Attica. But yeah, no, we're not going to do this. It's just an unfair advantage that we don't really deserve. So yeah, we're not really going to make a lot of money. Let's just stick a dining car on. But as long as we make some. Actually, I don't think I can. But with BB, would I be able to take out 2 bonds? It's not even holding anything anymore. Yeah. What did I buy in terms of industry? So I bought this fruit orchard and a cattle ranch. Okay, so they're going to make money, but they're only going to make like 100,000 a year max. So we might want to think about connecting to Marathon. But is there actually any grain? There's no grain, that's a problem. Because there's a brewery here and it's just not making money, so Marathon... Unless we can get, like, passengers. Control clothes. And coffee. I'm going to take out a bond. And buy some industry. Ooh. Okay. That is not profitable. What is that? What's this about? Why are they all just like not profitable? Last year they made like 40,000 then 30,000, and this year they're on target to make like 10,000. Problem is the only other city really is Marathon, which I think I'm going to connect to. Oh. So there's actually a slight sort of dip, which is what's going on here. Causing me a bit of trouble with the track. Yeah, you see here, like, for some reason, this commercial building is sort of built on a hill, and that's why it's sort of floating. And that's okay in terms of track. There's like 1 mile where it just randomly goes to 4%. But I reckon if I build like a water tower there or something, it'll flatten out. And also, like, because it's such a short distance that it is at 1%, it's fine. Like, the train won't even notice. So this isn't flat in the literal sense of the definition, but I mean 0, 1, 2%, like it's flat enough. Ooh. I don't know what's good. God damn it! Marathon's got a tiny hill in the middle of the city. Or middle of the town, I don't know. Also, good thing, we don't have limited track. Are you kidding me? Well, I can't really afford a big station at the moment. Yeah, there's just nothing here, really. So, I'm going to make this train go from Piraeus to Athens to Marathon. And then from Marathon, it doesn't really matter, but let's just go back to Athens. So it's just literally going do, 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 do. And let's build a water tower. Marousi is a pointless town. It only has 2 houses, and as far as I'm aware, even if I built a station there and hauled a lot of stuff to it, though there wouldn't exactly be demand for stuff, it'll just never grow. As far as I'm aware, any town less than 4 houses, and possibly even towns that are 4 houses, they just never grow. So Marousi, yeah, you're probably never going to get a station. Whoa, that is a lot of passengers. That is a nice profit. Holy crap, that is really nice. For some reason there's a lot of people want to go from Athens to Marathon. In fairness, I'm not entirely surprised because Athens and Piraeus are right next to each other. And like, could actually be worth building a train just directly from Piraeus to Marathon, but then there wouldn't be anything to haul on the way back. Nice start. You managed to haul specific cargo requests to Piraeus and from Piraeus port. That means a victory point for you. Well done. Yeah, so we've got 1 victory point out of 1 so far. Yeah, they're pleased with us. Increase the salary. That is nice. Let's go ahead and issue off the stock. Any industries we can buy. See, that's 400,000, but it's... I don't see why. It's just not profitable. And that's 1.5 million. But that is really profitable. That's only 210,000, but it only made 5,000 last year. Like, same with that one. It's just like, no, I don't want it. No, this is actually Central Greece over here. Yeah, there's not really much we can do in terms of buying stuff. Simply because we don't have a lot of access to territory and we can't buy anywhere. So, for now, we kind of just have to wait. I'm going to build a maintenance factory here, though. Actually, I don't know if I even need one. Because there is one there already, and it seems to be doing okay, so I don't think I actually need another maintenance factory. Crampton has below average fuel economy, but for trains of this era, that is actually good. The Adler is no longer available. The Firefly having fuel economy extremely poor, I believe, is the worst in the game. I don't think there is another train with worse fuel economy than the Firefly. Although, I think fuel is really weird in this game, because if you have a train that's like average fuel economy, but it's like an 1850s, 1860s train, it will still use less fuel than a train from like the 1950s that has average fuel economy, simply because that train is bigger. But whether that train would get like more miles per gallon or something, or kilometers per litre, I don't know. Fuel's a bit weird in this game, and I don't really pay any attention to it. I just think, this train's more fuel efficient. The game experts will be able to tell me, probably, if they watch this video. But all in all, the Crampton is actually a good train, just don't take it up a hill. If you take it on flat land, the Crampton is good. Kind of expensive, but it can go at like... It can go pretty fast, and passengers like it, and it's got good stats. So as far as I'm aware, it's a good train. Right, we've actually got a lot of money now, or we're making decent profit at least. Which, considering we're only in economic normal and not like prosperity or anything, is pretty damn good. So this is actually making a bit more money, but I don't know if I want. I don't want to buy it. I kind of want to buy this dairy farm. I really want to buy that textile mill, but there's no way I'm ever going to be able to afford it because it's too profitable, and so it's too expensive. I like how there's a weapons and a munitions factory in Athens, and there is steel in Athens, and there therefore is munitions. The problem is that the munitions are being made but there is no demand anywhere on the map for munitions. So the price is just 0 on the entire map. Maybe later game, when, I don't know, barracks start appearing, there'll be some demand for munitions. And we can start hauling ammo and whatnot around. And maybe some troops. Because right now, great prosperity. Right now, there are no troops on the entire map. Right. Okay, so these fruit orchards are actually losing money. Not really surprised, because they're kind of so far away that maybe they just can't get the produce to where it needs to go. Also, there's not really much demand, other than just like the houses, because obviously there's no distilleries lying around. So, it's 1.4 million to build a distillery. Also, because early we can't actually build much in the way of industry. Like, we can't even build a steel mill. That I'm a bit surprised by. So there's 23 loads of steel on the entire map. There is a port, obviously, in Piraeus that provides steel. There's also steel in Thessaloniki, but unfortunately that's all the way in Macedonia. Although I think this is Macedonia in Greece. As opposed to what is, like, modern Macedonia, which is like the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. I think rather confusingly, and this is possibly why I saw in the news recently that Macedonia wants to change its name. That is the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, to eliminate confusion with that of the region of Macedonia. The ancient kingdom of Macedonia, I believe, is more possibly to do with that of the region of Macedonia rather than the country of Macedonia. Don't quote me on that, I'm probably completely wrong. You are company director for Greek National Railroad for 3 years now. That grammar. And your name is becoming better known. Now it's the time to ride that reputation and make additional money. For a victory point, reach 2 million mark in lifetime industry profits before the end of 1863. Yeah, so that literally gives us 4 years to reach 2 million industry profit. Ow! Okay. Wow. Yeah, so I'm going to have to buy a big-ass industry. Aha! Yeah, okay. Because at the moment, we're making, like, well, last year we made 51,000. And I need to make about 1.8 million in 4 years. And a bit. I'm rounding. So, that's 460,000 per year. Eesh! That's a lot. Right, well, if I built a textile mill... Actually, can we build tool and die? I can build tool and die. Okay. So if I built a tool and die... Well, they demand steel and turn it into goods. And there is steel lying around in Athens. So... Problem is, the price of goods is quite high. So if I did build a tool and die, I actually don't know if it would make money. Also, interestingly, there's no coal or iron on the entire map. Actually, didn't the game say something about this? It did, but I can't see it. Yeah, it won't let me. No, it said, like, obviously at the start, it said bear in mind the following few points, and I think one of them was steel has to be imported, which is why trains are more expensive. The track itself might be more expensive. Stations themselves are the same price, which is actually really nice. Okay, so tool and die is an option, but I don't think it would make money. We've got to make like 460,000 per year. That's a hell of a lot. I don't see how we're going to do this. So that's 3 million. So issue off the stock. Take out a shitload of bonds. Actually repay off this. Repay off that. And take that out. Yeah, so I've reduced the interest rate from whatever it was, like 10% or something, to 8. Thereby saving us like 30,000 per year. Not a great deal, but every little helps. It also keeps our credit rating. Ah, Jesus. I think a textile mill would be okay. Isn't actually enough livestock around? There's not even much livestock, so I can't really build a meat plant. Textile mill might be our only option, but there is already a textile mill here, which I could just buy for 3 million. There's a lot of bonds, and I don't even know if I could take out that many bonds. But it is a surefire profit. Ah! One more bond and it'd be enough. Damn it. Well, come on, trains. Actually, let's just buy our own textile mill. Can I actually build a textile mill and a tool and die? Granted, that is like all our money. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna be brave, guys. Okay, the tool and die might be a mistake. I have to hope. I should have, for fuck's sake, I should have built the tool and die in Piraeus. Whoa! Tool and die making money! As is the textile mill! Yeah! With a bit of luck, this one will stop stealing all the cotton and wool. There's not much. Holy shit, this tool and die is doing amazing. That's really weird, because like the price of goods is really high, and it's like the same everywhere, so I didn't realise it would actually make money. But then saying that, I actually don't know how... The only thing I can think of is because steel is so cheap and goods are so expensive, it's making a lot of money. So, let me just do some... So 63,000 for materials cost divided by 2.4 is roughly 25. So it is buying the steel for 25 a load, but then it's making 766 divided by 2.4 again. Ah! Yeah, so basically it doesn't actually matter because there is actually demand for goods, because it's, well, goods are demanded by houses. They're also demanded everywhere. So yes, this tool and die is going to make a fortune, provided we give it enough steel. And I'm actually going to want to probably upgrade this at some point. Oh, that was beautiful then. We're going to do this easily. Okay, I'm sort of both an idiot and a genius, because that was a beauty of a buy. Granted, however, I am gonna want to get rid of these. I can't. Take it on 9%, take that out. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, that'll sort of do. Issue off the stock. And then take that out. Get rid of that. And take that out. And there we go. Right. Now, things are going well. So I'm going to save the game and create a new video part. So I will see you in part 2, folks.